All right, welcome to Community Engagement Commission meeting, Wednesday, November 20th, 6 o'clock. Here we are. I'd like to call the meeting to order. All right, well, roll call. Bill Norman,
Here.
Mark Saba,
Here.
Aaron Asmus, excused. Arlene,
Here.
Robin, excused. I'm here. What else we got? Cynthia, excused.
I make a motion that we excuse Robin, Cynthia, and Aaron from tonight's meeting.
Second.
They're excused. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Do we have Arlene actually?
Yeah.
He's probably muted, but I know, I see
Okay.
him nodding.
Yes, I
Okay,
said aye. Yep.
okay, great. All right, approvals, the agenda. Any changes to the agenda? Or can we approve it as is?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Agenda as is. Minutes from the meeting October 16th.
And I want to know you have a slightly fixed version on your printout. In the version that was emailed to you, I had Cynthia mistakenly listed as being present. She was actually online last month. That's been corrected.
Great.
Oh, yes.
Any other changes to the meeting minutes? All right, can we,
I make a motion that we approve last month's meeting. No.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Great. Meetings are approved. Public comments. Do we have anyone? Anything? All right, City Hall updates.
Just let me know if you have any questions. I do have a couple slide updates. I am still catching up on watching the recording of last night's city council meeting. I was out ill and not able to even watch it online. I didn't feel that good. But I do know that I believe from what I've been told, the Trailhead restaurant applicants, one of them backed out, the sushi restaurant backed out, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago.
Casey, so I didn't.
And Mark McAvoy, from what I understand, the council decided to pursue the open negotiations with the two remaining ones. Is that correct? I haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah, so they voted to direct staff to negotiate a lease with both potential restaurateurs.
And just so you know, this also came up last night at City Council. Councilmember Mike Kennedy remarked that a group of folks, including himself, have started a collection to put together a some sort of a memorial bench in honor of Splash reporter Craig Howard, who just suddenly passed away last week. I just want to put it on the record that I really appreciated working with this guy. I probably only ever saw him in person 3 times in the 2.5 years I've been doing this. Most of our interactions were over the phone, over email. This is somebody I connected with because I used to do what he has been doing. I used to be the city government reporter for my local weekly newspaper in Leavenworth many years ago. He was just a very positive person, somebody who, you know, you talk about community engagement, which is what this group is all about. He was a highly community engagement person. A lot of people found out about what happens at City Hall, a lot about what happens at Liberty Lake City Government for many years because of this guy's very solid reporting, very caring reporting, the pursuit of getting the information accurate, and presenting his words in a way that were relevant and fun to read. He was not a boring reporter. He worded things well and worded things creatively. I connected with him. I think he connected with me, and I appreciated his positive comments about my writing for our city's page and Splash, because again, he and I just had a lot of similarities, and he's one of those folks where when somebody suddenly is no longer there, you wish boy, I wish I could have gotten to know that person better. So I guess I would just put that suggestion to everybody out there. If anybody's even watching this recording, if there are people you would like to get to know better, do that, because you don't know how much better you'll benefit and learn from it. And that's part of what this group is about, is engaging people to get the benefit of what's happening with what's happening at City Hall. So keep doing it and keep doing it more. And if you do so, you won't have any regrets of what got missed out.
So David, I'd like to add on to that. Craig and I were very, very close. When he was an integral part of the incorporation. He was at my side all the time, late at night, you name it. He was a single man back then with no kids. And when I decided to move on and work for other cities, he's written a total of 7 profiles of me, which I'm very grateful and humbled. When we moved home, back home, he was the first person at my doorstep. And you know, Craig left behind 3 children. His oldest boy, Elliot, who's a freshman at Ridgeline, a daughter, Kate, who's an 8th grader, and Willa, who is in the 2nd grade. Needless to say, Rich and I had spent many Saturdays, many Sundays with the kids at our community pool here. We've taken them out to pizza. We've, you know, you name it, we did it with those kids, and Craig was always with us. I had called Craig on Thursday before he passed, and I said, hey, Craig, we need to do the Howard family Christmas at our house because Rich and I have already bought gifts for all the kids. Obviously, he didn't call me back. I was notified by Mike Kennedy. Mike and I go way back, and I have really been devastated over the last few days. I did see the kids at his service. It was a beautiful service. I left there happy and enlightened. You know, Craig has so many sides to him. I just asked myself, why didn't I know this guy? I thought I knew this guy. He's a great guy. But Rich and I will pick up where we left off with his children. We will see them weekly. We'll be taxi, whatever they need. And there is a memorial fund called the Craig Howard Memorial Fund by Mike Kennedy. They would like to put a very nice bench in one of the parks, and then all the rest of the money goes to the children and to their well-being. So that's my 2 cents to offer about Craig. I miss him every day.
Thanks, Arlene.
Thank you.
In fact, I know he also interviewed Mark Saba here like 2 months ago, both myself and you, Mark, for an article about community engagement.
Right.
Craig and I go way back. He did an article on me for Dockside that blew me away. I mean, the way he did his professionalism of his creative writing. I mean, he would ask me, when he did that interview, all he did was just ask a couple questions, and he was able to read me from there. And I mean, I read the article, you know, and it came out, and I went, wow, I can't believe that's me. You know, he was just one of those guys that he took it really, really personal. And, you know, my engagement with Craig was pretty much on a monthly basis. We talked, and yeah, like Arlene said, he's going to be very well missed. I mean, when I got the call from the mayor about it, what happened to Craig, I fell down. I mean, I was such a young man. It's not fair, but hopefully he's in a better place, and I think that, you know, I wish the best for his family.
Thanks, Warren.
Want to transition into the positive though, and continue on the legacy of community engagement like Craig Howard had put out there for a lot of years. A reminder to all of you folks who are in the even numbered positions, we want you to reapply for, we're hoping you will reapply for Community Engagement Commission. I've listed your names there at the end of the City Hall update for tonight. If any of you have any questions, let me know, and then I would hope that we would have all of you reconfirmed by the end of the second city council meeting of December. They did go ahead and approve the reappointments for, I believe, yeah, Parks and Arts Commission last night. And then 2 weeks ago, they did the reappointments for Planning Commission. I would hope to see a few familiar names from around this table at the next meeting or two, I hope. On the next agenda.
Mm. All right, discussions and business. December 11th, Planning Commission meeting on sign code update and the public engagement component.
Do you want me to address what I know on that?
Yep.
Basically, the email I sent you earlier is literally all I know about this at this point. This is not going to be a joint meeting. We do not need to worry about any quorum issues with you folks. It's a regular planning commission meeting at which Community Engagement Commission members have been invited to attend to offer any suggestions, provide feedback, answer questions the planning commission may have about changes the city is planning to make on the sign code update, specifically with you people, the public engagement component of that. I don't know specifically what that component may look like, but that's part of why they may want you there on December 11th.
Is anyone gonna represent us there by any chance?
It sounded like Robin was interested.
I hope so,
so, yeah.
because so one of us should be
Yeah,
there.
and
I'm out of the country, so,
they meet at 4:00.
I was gonna say that one's,
that wouldn't help
So-
you.
So I can be available if I'm needed.
Okay.
I don't want to attend just to be in a meeting. So if you,
okay.
if you need someone and
So
I'm the available guy.
Bill could be a possibility. I think Robin had interest.
Well, we'll just confirm with Robin.
Yeah, and then that bill now.
Great.
Summer, do you know? No, we probably not can't because
Yeah,
Yeah, she has school.
there's I'm out at, I'm
Yeah.
usually late to any of that stuff.
and I'll connect with the other members and see who may be able to attend.
Great. 2025 Community Satisfaction Survey, the survey answer set.
Is that my cue?
Sure is.
All right, so you all have, I think, a copy of the community satisfaction survey in front of you. And so really, this is just an opportunity to get your feedback. We've talked quite a bit over the last year or so about the satisfaction survey. We're getting ready to enter the 2025 cycle, certainly planning for it. And so just wanted to get feedback on some potential opportunities to shorten or de-densify the survey potentially through culling some of these answer sets. And really, I'll say, if you compare our survey to other surveys nationally, ours is no longer than theirs. In fact, ours is on the short side of some that are out there. But to that point, when you look at some of these answer sets, there's some, answers that have similar meanings. And so is there an opportunity to shorten the entire length? And by doing so, potentially raise the return rate? That's really the goal, I think. And so that's the question. I sent you an email back a while back on the 14th and recommended looking specifically at answer sets to question 2, 7, 8, and 11. And so if you have any comments or feedback on any of those, we can discuss those here.
Should we go over each one individually? I think we ought to just start and go through each one individually, like.
I don't know that we need to go through them individually. If there's
Okay,
things as you review
Okay,
them.
then if you don't mind, I can speak first if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like number 2, the things that I looked at that were kind of not in our control. And, and I think that's what this survey is, it's a satisfactory survey, but, air quality. I don't see anything. Cost of living and drinking water quality. Those are things that I look at, it's like, what's that got to do? The other one here is how city enforce codes in your neighborhoods. City doesn't enforce codes in our neighborhoods. HOAs do. And if there's any codes in our neighborhood, they're usually, or any codes that are being enforced, correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually within a commercial area. I may be wrong, I don't know. The other thing I was looking at here, on number 8, acts of terrorism. I don't think we really have any terrorism here in the city of Liberty Lake. Severe weather and natural disasters. I've lived here for 20 years. We've had one incident where we've had severe weather and natural disasters. One I would add to this one would be homeless. Okay, because that is becoming a very big issue within the region. As for number 11, number 7, I'm sorry, I didn't flip here. Number 7 had, I don't know, it was like, it was repeating a lot of things in here, you know, your neighborhood after dark, your business after dark, traveling in the streets after dark. I don't know if, you know, I think it was a little repetitious in number 7 that, you know, that could be, you know, evaluated, if you will. As for number 11, I thought that one was intact. It was pretty much, I think that covers everything that, you know, we would have to describe to find out the satisfactions of the community. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Anyone else have any comments?
On number 2, I think it was number 2. Yeah, the quality of K through 12 education. And I'm all for making things shorter. I'm not trying to make things longer, but in this case, I think that could maybe be broken down because I think the difference between elementary school and high school choices are different, that sort of thing.
So for, if I can,
Yeah.
for a moment, like, for example, probably I don't know, a little bit more than a third of the way down the list.
Mhm.
There's a handful of things, starting with Liberty Lake is a place to live, and then it goes on and lists several other place-making things. There's an opportunity there to combine, you know, to say something like live, work, and play, right, as one thing, and then maybe differentiate with the education that you're describing, and get some more clarity there. Because if you look at the responses, there's not a whole lot of difference in the way people answered those. Now, that doesn't mean that there will be a whole lot of difference in the way they answer breaking out others.
Mhm.
But if you believe that it's important to know that, we can certainly take that into account.
Well, I guess to me, anything that potentially gives more specific information with an answer like this is interesting to me.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's one of those. And I was trying to lead with this, you know, with the more, as far as coming, sort of truncating some stuff. I mean, there are some repetitive things. I guess my thing is, this to me is, it's got everything. And I can see little pieces to maybe pull out, but to me, it's either maybe, is there a short version and a long version? Not that I know that we're not trying to get more information that way, but to me, I'm saying maybe there is some version like that. And once you're in here, you are taking these things. Cause I don't know, I went through it and I've gone through it several times. I don't really have things that are too much or repetitive. I mean, the in your home after dark, those are different things. It doesn't bother me to differentiate those. And the acts of terrorism one, I actually, to be honest, when I was going through this the first time around, I liked, you know, it's your level of concern with the following things. And to me, to find out within myself answering a question that I don't have a high level of concern is interesting to me as like a survey taker. And if somebody answers, if suddenly there's a bunch of answers at something that I didn't see concerning, I find that valuable. To your point about the homelessness, I think that's is that vagrancy and loitering, or is that?
Don't know.
Does it need to be?
I think it should be spelled out.
Okay,
itself,
because that's what everyone
because
keeps writing in
keeps
and-
writing,
yeah,
talking about,
right.
yeah.
Right. Um. I don't know. I mean, I'm really on the fence about it, but to me, I actually, if you're gonna take the time to do it, these all have very specific different answers. It doesn't bother me that much.
Well, and to follow up on that point, you know, over time, as an example, if you started to see variations year over year in some of these, and the purpose of providing this differentiation is so that you can tailor responses as you start to see differences in
Right.
the way people are answering questions. So that's part of the value in having the distinction between certain things.
See, that
Um,
was my concern there, Mark. My concern, is this the same survey that we sent out last year?
So what you have is the survey we sent out last year.
This is what we,
Yes,
if this is, okay, I was unaware of that. And if this is, and if we wanna, if we really wanna compare apples to apples, I think we ought to stick with what we got.
oh, I agree.
And
There
I-
was some concern about the length of it. That's
Well,
why I
you
wanted
know,
to
that
offer.
It is what it is, yeah, but, you know, we've already gone, you know, if we're gonna use the first year as a base, or do we want to start over and use this year as a base? I don't know.
No.
No, I don't think we want to, because we already got a base set. So I would say that we stick to what we got.
I'm-
That's just, because I was unaware that this was the same one that we sent out last year.
I don't remember from last, I took the survey. Does the system allow you to partially complete it, save, and then come back later to finish it?
I'm not-
Yeah, the online version, yes, or a lot of
Yeah.
people got this
Sure,
actual one in the
yeah.
mail. So they have the option of, well, I'm not going to answer this one, I'm going to send it in. The online version, same thing. Nothing was required to answer, except I think
The-
maybe the ID number, so we knew which ones had come in.
But if you started, if you started to answer questions and then went and did something else and came back, would it save your answers so you can start where you left off? That's, I
I
think,
would
the
have to,
question
look
that
at it.
you're
I don't know
driving.
for sure the answer to that.
We can find that out. I'm sure there's a setting that we can
I can check.
create
It would
I
that.
know-
just seem that that is a response to the length, if you can do it in 2 sittings.
Have we thought the possibility of sending this out in 2 separate? Plan A, Plan B, the first half or second half?
Not really, only because you would, you would pretty much taint the answer set, because you would probably not get full answers from any one individual. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, there would be a cost associated with multiple,
Yeah, sure.
tiers or
Sure.
phases, but
I had 2 things and I'm just, again, we've been going over it for a while, so I'm just kind of thinking back on some of the stuff. The proximity to golf courses. I'm not sure what valuable information that gives me exactly. Are we gonna magically change the golf courses and not have them here? No. Does it show that people are proud of having golf courses here? Does it show that people don't care? I mean, to me, that's a lift. If anyone cares, I don't,
yeah, and I think a lot of the response to the question that I'm asking tonight depends on how you view certain things in the survey. Because I think it's interesting, using that one as the example, that question or that answer was the one that got the most negative response
Sure.
in the entire survey.
And then what are you gonna
Yeah.
do about that
Yeah, well, I think for me, well, yeah, and, you know, obviously that wouldn't happen. I think the interesting thing for me is that it helps to validate that people have interest other than golf. And sometimes we don't recognize that.
I agree with the sentiment behind that, but to me, the question has the word proximity. And if I love golf and I might not care that I am the proximity to them. I mean, that doesn't, to me, that's sort of an odd. I get where we're going with that, but to me, that it doesn't really answer that 100%. It's,
Sure.
do you care that we are a golf community? Yes or no? I'm
We-
not saying that we want that, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, I mean, we can tinker with any of the, the kind of the aim of any of these questions. By changing a word to change the meaning.
and I don't want to parse through it really. I mean, to be honest, like I'm fine with it as is, but part of me says some of this stuff, I'm not sure where it gets us. I mean, again, that's interesting, but I'm not 100% sure. On the other side too, with the called crime check versus being contacted by, does anybody care about that one? Is it interesting that you've been contacted by Scraps, or do you want just the, have communicated with, or, have it be a slash kind of question, contacted or been contacted by? Or is that really interesting information that somebody called you from there? I mean, I don't know.
And we probably just need to be more direct with that one. Really what we're getting at there is, were you stopped?
And see, that's not clear to me because I've been contacted by certain organizations or things or whatever, not because of, maybe because it was a callback,
Right.
Um,
We can look at those kinds of distinctions to make them more
Sure.
clear.
Sure. So to me, it's just that kind of stuff. I mean, full lifts aside, I mean, to me, it becomes a shortened version of the exact same question, so we don't mess with numbers if we do anything different.
Okay.
And I really think it's about marketing it. I really think it's about telling people how important it is, showing them a little bit of the stats from last time around on some way that doesn't change the outcome, but some just showing the value and the specialness of getting it.
What were the ideas of how we were gonna conduct this survey? Same as last year with 660 or?
Well, and so that's kind of leading into the second point on the agenda, and that is whether, and I guess my recommendation would be to either stand up the committee that existed or reconstitute it so that we can go over and make those decisions, because I would recommend making some changes that would be designed to boost the response rate while at the same time controlling the cost. And so that's much more effectively done in a committee setting. And so that would be my recommendation, but that's obviously you all's decision.
I hope we keep a subcommittee on it. It doesn't, the same subcommittee, which I think is Cynthia and
Aaron, Cynthia, and Summer.
Aaron.
Aaron,
Okay.
Cynthia, and
Yeah.
Summer.
So if anyone wants to join or swap or,
I know how to get a hold of all of those people. so.
okay, all right. But yeah. Okay.
So to wrap this one up, we can call a meeting of the committee at some point in the near future. Our tentative schedule at this point, and we haven't put a date on, we haven't circled a date on the calendar, but it would be, the intent would be to distribute the survey sometime in mid-January, second, third week in January, somewhere in there. And again, the goal would be to get a higher response rate in a shorter amount of time so that we can turn the results around
Yep.
and use them earlier in the process of developing the budget. So
Right.
I like it.
Well, I have high hopes knowing that this was a real thing last year and we have something to point to. Because I think it was hard to convince anyone that was, important, official, et cetera, so.
You may have seen, I did do some posts of 5, kind of some of the more interesting findings that we put on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, a series of 5, just to keep this survey in people's minds. And I may do something like that again come January, just to remind people, we're doing this for a purpose and we want your input again in 2025.
Great. Okay, anything else on that, anyone? Okay, video project. Now, I probably should have seen if anyone wanted to move this to a time when Robin was here,
Yeah, that's
Um,
the best thing.
which we probably could still do a little bit of that.
I think we ought to
um,
move it to the next meeting.
Does anyone,
She's kind of her baby.
Arlene?
Plus, Mark, weren't you gonna have some information, some?
I do have
Things
it
you
here,
could-
sure. It was basically on the events that we have coming up and focus of the main ones, yeah.
What do you
I-
got?
Well, pretty much it's, everyone knows what they are. There's no secret, but
Sure.
you know, just going through the calendar starting, and I don't have any specific dates yet because we really don't know what.
What day's the yard sale? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
You know, because that's usually in what, March, April? Yeah, something like
June?
that. June, yeah.
June.
There. Yeah, what I've got listed here is in March, I've got the Liberty Lake Kiwanis Father-Daughter Dance and then the Liberty Lake Easter egg hunt. That could be in April. I don't know when Easter is this year. May, of course, is a very important month with farmer's market opening up through October. And these are dates that I think warrant social media. They also warrant and this is something that I found out that it's no longer on David's desk, it's on Macal's desk. The A-frames
Mhm.
type of thing, get the information out. I know everyone is talking about, you know, it's all social media, but I think the A-frames do a lot of info out there, the old fashioned way of
Sure.
advertising. Moving on, May is also Memorial Day breakfast and the luminary with the Rotary. June is, like we just talked about, the yard sale and the Winter Glow Golf Tournament, which is June 11th. I do have a date on that.
Great.
June is also Friends of the Library book sale. And then in July and August are very big months for us. It starts off with movies in the park, July through September. And then I couldn't remember, David, what our name of our July 4th celebration thing was.
The word fest is in there.
Festive, yeah, something like that. We do have our July 4th, or we'll come up with it, but I just had Liberty Lake July celebration, which includes the boat parade, the community parade, the music at the park, and then the fireworks. And then also in July is the Friends of the Library, a soiree, as well as the Friends of the Library, or the libraries, Touch a Truck. August comes in with the Barefoot in the Park on August 2nd. August 23rd is the Mutt Strut. September, that would be Labor Day weekend, would be the Symphony at the Park. Also in September is Cops, Cars, and Cruisers. The Rotary Rim Ride is also in September. In October is, and it's October 11th, because I know the date of this, it's already set, is the Winter Glow Dinner Auction event. And then next year, November 22nd through January 1st will be Winter Glow.
Great.
And that's us in a year. And those are the big events I kind of just picked and choose. And, you know, there's others out there, but those seem to be the ones that really jump out at me. So, but we can talk about that further when Robin is here and talk about the video thing. posted
Okay.
on.
Great.
Okay.
Arlene, you good with keeping video stuff till Robin's here?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
You know, a motion on it to table or?
Um,
Well, actually, we heard a little bit.
Yeah, we
I think
did.
we
And
can Table it.
And I was just gonna add to, again, I'm still kind of stuck on, as each of these events come up, let's consider what a video component could look like.
Right.
If that's a small little thing that we put on David in some way, if it's a bigger thing, we can consider it as it comes up and form a little group of people to figure that out. But I'm sure that will make Robin happy too, and there'll definitely be a lot of history involved.
Yep.
Okay, moving on, DCEC work plan update. Do we want to, Aaron?
Does anybody have anything to add to that? It kind of ties into the video project being part of that, but
Right.
that's just one component.
I just have something quick on that because I was asked by a neighbor recently about, in this case, the dog park. Where did that, where did we fall on that, that kind of thing. So, but as those things come up and we have a notebook, I think it's worth maybe all of us just kind of looking through that at some point, seeing where we are at certain things, just kind of refreshing ourselves personally, individually with things, so we have some good answers for those things as they come up. Because for me, I literally just couldn't even remember. I'm like, well, they did a present, I don't know, we're like laying, I don't know. So just as they all come up, something like that. So just a little reminder, I think, to kind of refresh ourselves.
You're saying,
With stuff.
so for a note I can take on this item,
Yeah,
saying update the notebook for.
update the
2020.
notebook, with status on, projects.
Since this is the first year of the notebook, 2024, is there the plan to pull out old stuff or just keep it in there in the archives, or have
Well,
you thought about that?
Unless I think we ought to use it, speaking of the we should have a spot in the back for archives, not pull it all out.
there are elements in the book that are simply lifted out of the city's website. And my recommendation would be that those remain intact, meaning that we update those pages as the website is
Or just
updated.
replace them.
But yeah, but they should be there as sort of the, I see it as core information. The stuff like Summer is speaking about, that includes the monthly updates we get on building projects in the city. That one is easy to do because it is just getting the monthly update from Lisa. But on this one, like the dog parks, we might be, I don't know, we might need to think of a process or a way of knowing what projects we need to.
Well, Aaron's spreadsheet, Aaron's workbook
Will
of
have
everything,
that.
right, has a lot of that. So I think maybe as we plug stuff into that, a printable version or, just an updated version of that would probably be good. Because I think that's pretty accurate and for timelines
Okay.
of things like that. And to me, then we don't have multiple documents. I would say though, even handwriting in updates as they're happening, for example, I'm gonna use the dog park, when they came and spoke to City Hall, we could just jot down to City Council, we could jot down that it happened or when that happened, and then any further updates, just kind of jot it down in there too, which then Aaron could take from us to put into that.
Because I don't think that kind of a page exists in the
Right.
binder
Right.
yet.
And I'm seeing that it could, so that's,
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking if whether it starts out as rough notes, or comes from Aaron, I see them as being,
Working together.
yeah. And he can get from us and we can get from him, so.
How do I phrase that for my notes?
I know, I'm trying to work it out with Bill.
Why don't we just say, I think maybe the core of this, just add as a page in the notebook, Aaron's
Workspace, whatever. it's
schedule.
called, yeah.
What are we calling that?
Mm,
The work plan?
It's the work plan. I don't know what, it's project time. I mean, it's project timelines and project updates.
But is that where we find them, on that work plan?
Is the work plan just, Robin's smaller work plan? Or has that become Aaron's? Has Robin's small work plan become Aaron's larger
I think Aaron's. is
interactive?
More in depth
More detail?
Yes, but are
than
they,
Robin's, and I think they run hand in hand.
okay, so I think maybe
We ought to just.
we're just
for
going with,
Aaron's.
okay, great. Okay,
So add Aaron's work plan as a page in the
Binder.
binder.
Which does not exist
Does
yet.
not
right?
That
exist.
page doesn't.
Mhm.
So should I reach out to
get
Aaron?
Aaron's most updated, we'll print it out. And as anything comes up, we can handwrite in answers or attach typed notes to it in the binder. Those can be shared electronically with Aaron, or he can get it from that otherwise.
Okay. And is the binder now, is it in the office here? Okay, I'll work on that too. It's findable.
Probably in the,
But-
wherever the farmer's market bend is, it's probably.
No, I think we asked for a little nook, a
I
little
will,
cranny.
I'll try to find out if the mayor's picked up that stuff yet.
Okay, our idea was, and it embarrasses me, the marvelous young lady that's in the front office here,
Kate,
Tate. We were thinking that on a shelf in her office might be a handy and reachable place.
Mhm.
And she
So
didn't
that-
seem opposed.
no.
She didn't
She-
seem opposed.
That
Okay.
seems logical to me.
Makes sense to me.
Okay, anything else on the work plan update? All right, potential date change for December 2024 meeting.
You discussed this last time, last month, you were all okay with maintaining the scheduled date, but I thought since we're a month closer, has anybody's plans changed and do you want to stick with that date or do something that fits people's
It's the
schedules better?
18th, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm okay with that, but I'll go with whatever the group feels.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 18th.
Let's
too.
stick with it for now.
Mark, are you off?
I'm out,
in any case.
I'm out of the country, the first part.
I think we determined that Aaron was here.
Yeah, Aaron's here.
Bill, you good?
Yeah,
Great,
I think we're all
let's keep
good.
it.
Yep.
Okay, I'll be there.
Awesome. Okay, any upcoming opportunities?
I think the surveys. the opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But,
And again, I mean, just quickly on that as being an upcoming opportunity, if I end up in a subcommittee with it, I can look at it in detail, but I'm, I don't have anything to add to this meeting about the
No.
survey, if that's,
I think as one thing of upcoming opportunities, hey, we got 2025 is gonna get here real quick. I think we should get our event calendar put together as quickly as possible. I can work on that if you like me to, David. When I get back.
Yeah.
When I get
One-
back from my trip.
one thing I would add to our discussion about the questionnaire,
The survey.
the survey, yeah. As I appreciate our eagerness to get it right. I don't know who in the world knows what that really can look like. I think your suggestions were thoughtful. If we continue with minimal or no changes for another year, I think each time our appreciation for its value and how workable
Yeah.
it is gonna be honed. So if we were to go into this next year and make no changes at all, review it again next year, and then I just think we'll, as we get more results, we'll be better positioned to talk about what's working and what isn't, and we might find that we're entirely happy. There may be things that are just not getting the attention from the participants, and so we can say, well, maybe that. And there may be indicators that suggest we should be asking some different questions about some issues, like golf courses, for example. And maybe one try isn't enough to know that.
Yeah.
Just,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Me too. But I think the big caveat of this is, and the big challenge is getting more responses back.
right. Which,
We did not do well. 600, we got 100 and something back out of 600. But, it was first try, it was.
I think just being able to say annual at this point, just
Yeah,
being able to say this is a
Exactly,
thing,
yeah,
that's
and-
already 10 more
and I think
people.
Keep that idea ready to go to.
I haven't forgotten it. I've been waiting for a whole year, you see.
Yeah, and there could be that anticipation of people that did take the survey are waiting for it to come back again.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that, just by putting the survey out there, but I don't know how we're going to pursue it. Are we gonna do it in a mailing of a small sector again? I don't know.
I don't see why not. To me, it's a problem of getting people to do it. It's not. Let's say it had gone exactly how we wanted, whatever that looked like, full participation. Let's say
Yeah.
just dream. It was
Right.
full participation last year. If we had that, It would be from people wanting to do it. That's it.
And you know, that 170 or whatever we got responses back, were people that wanted to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, we shouldn't have set the bar so high though, you know, that's,
Sure.
that's, you know, unfortunately, that's what happened. The bar was set, yeah, we want 400 back.
Sure.
And so we're all disappointed when we only got half of that, less than half of the 400 that we projected that we were gonna get back. I think this year, if we get an increase of 15 to 20%,
Mhm.
that's a win.
If there, I wonder if there's a way to connect all of the efforts that the city is making. The town hall meeting, those kinds of things, and maybe even some effort to point to work that is being done in consequence of that, including the survey from last year. Is there a way that we can, without, you know, creating a lot of things to read, but something that says, we're trying to listen, we're trying to get more people to talk with us. Some of you have, and here's what's we're doing, and here's another survey. Is there a way that we could advertise this survey in the context of all of our efforts at transparency?
Yeah, I mean, we can think on what that looks like, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something for this.
no, yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I think that's the spirit of the whole thing. It's, again, we're kind of back to that place of the comparison, right? So
Mhm.
as soon as we have some, you know, something to compare it to, that's where, to me, the next step is saying like, hey, look, this many people said this time, this many said this, maybe it's from this, maybe we need more of that. So to me, I can see that conversation after. So before that, I'm trying to see what that looks like.
Well, so my thought is just positioning this as not something that exists in a vacuum. This is a thing and it's an important thing.
Sure.
We're also doing these.
Right.
And we're inviting you to participate fully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it isn't just a survey.
Right. Brought to you by your friends at the Community Engagement Commission.
Yeah.
Bring you other things such as town hall meeting.
I would throw out there, all these ideas, don't just leave them here at this meeting.
Should go to the
For
subcommittee.
those of you who are not in the subcommittee, relay those to the subcommittee, relay those to Mark McAvoy. You know, we've got a couple months yet until this thing's coming out, right?
Right.
Keep generating your ideas, and no matter how off the wall of an idea you may think it may be a really good one that's.
Okay,
maybe
David wears a
spurs another
sandwich
better one.
board with the
Um,
front of the survey and the back of the survey.
Put them all out
We
there.
got two gals that winter goes opening ceremony wearing sandwich.
And I know how much you love sandwich boards, so I feel like this just makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
All right, well, but yeah, but really, if you have thoughts or if you want to talk on that too, and we'll bring it to the subcommittee stuff. Anything else upcoming? Anyone? On the city hall updates, which is also an upcoming opportunity. What was our city academy legislator talk
You got a
about?
question on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, is that,
me
is
see.
anyone doing that? Is anyone,
Let's see if there's anything I need to add to that.
how to
This
make an
is
impact?
just getting developed within the last couple of weeks.
Okay,
This spurred out of some discussion from the town hall.
yeah,
The idea of finding a way to get residents to be more engaged with the state legislative process once the stuff in Olympia starts happening first part of January. What can a regular resident do to make a local impact? How do they contact a representative? How do they schedule a meeting? How do they write an effective letter? How do they participate in a public hearing that's happening in Olympia? We're having this workshop at the library on December, is it 11th?
10th.
10th?
Mhm.
I think it's on a
It's on the
Tuesday.
bottom of the first page.
Okay.
There it is.
There we go. We're kind of labeling it under the City Academy banner just to promote it additionally.
I,
It's not really a City Academy thing, but it's kind of we're putting it under that with that. We're going to be inviting, sending emails to all of you who have been part of City Academy in the last 3 sessions. We're going to be promoting it through Facebook, on the website. We have an item coming out in Splash next week on this. And it's just an opportunity to find out, how does a person participate in
Yeah.
state legislative efforts? How do they find out what's going on in Olympia?
I think it's great.
What
I
are some
just
of the bills that are coming up?
was hoping too that as we promote it or get a little bit closer, that we can mention, that it came from town hall
Yeah.
meeting, because I think that, again,
I
we're
think I'll-
bring all that together. So upcoming opportunity, if anyone wants to show up, I don't know if I'm free. I'd like to show up if I can. Anyone else? This seems like a good CEC thing to pass on the word about. That's all I've got. Anyone else got
For
anything?
that one, I don't know if I wrote this. We're going to have a Eventbrite pre-registration if anybody wants to reserve their spot, but it's completely open to the public. The only reason we're doing Eventbrite is, number one, to motivate some people to commit to coming to this. And number two, in the event that, if we're really fortunate, a lot of people decide to come to this, we can at least reserve a spot for those people who pre-registered.
Great.
If we run out of room, that would be a good problem to have. I don't know if it'll be a problem, but that's there.
Love it. Anyone else got anything?
Any, did you, are you adjourning or are you on number seven?
We haven't got
Well,
number 7.
I'm on any other opportunities
Okay,
coming up.
okay. I wanna make sure you didn't-
Anything for next time, next meeting?
We did the video.
Okay, video, I want to make sure we get them all officially.
Uh,
We will continue
Aaron's
discussion
work
on the survey.
plan. Work plan. And then probably either an update from the subcommittee about the survey, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And congratulate Bill at that time for putting in his reapplication.
This summer.
I will also add,
Oh, Arlene,
Arlene,
by your vote a year ago, the positions of chair and vice chair get reelected after 2 consecutive terms.
Hmm.
We are at the end of the 2 consecutive time period at the end of December. So I would request that that item be put on the agenda. Those of you, it's possible if Robin wanted to go for the other or Summer wanted to go for the other, that's within your rules from a year ago. If any of the rest of you would be considering wanting to think about being chair or vice chair next year, think about it for the next few weeks.
already thought of it.
We need to have that vote next month though.
That'd be great. Baron's not here, we ought to vote him.
that's a great choice. And he won't even listen to this recording, so.
Vote him in for both positions.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Let's do it.
Before we adjourn the meeting, Gonzaga's up 40-24 at half.
Thank you for that. Okay, anything else for next time? That's
Nope.
it? Okay, I move that we end this meeting.
Like,
All right.
good job there, Sammy. There you go.